Yeah. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Ankit Jain, and this is my short introduction. I'm a technical architect at one of the MNCs. I'm 18X certified. I'm active in CTOS events. This is my LinkedIn URL. So, if anyone wants, you can do a scan and send me the request. So, and in future, if anyone wants to join any further sessions, so in our WhatsApp group, this is the link. This is my LinkedIn handles where I keep the information up to date about the schedule. Yes, so anybody wants to get actually interviewed, or can I keep it as generic? Please acknowledge. So what I have seen is like you all have said like keep it generic. So see, the very first thing that would come to your interview is they will ask you to introduce yourself. So in your introduction, what I was expected like is you just tell your name, like my name is this. I work at this company as this. What is my designation? Like suppose if I talk about myself, like so I will say like my name is Ankit and I'm currently working as a technical architect with my company name, which I would like to keep it confidential for now. And then I have means then I will have to talk about the credentials, like how many certification, anything you have done. You can say, let's say like I had an 18X certificate, so I had an 18 certifications in Salesforce, which includes with the application system architect. My core skill set includes Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. Apart from Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and Expense Cloud, and then I have also means worked with Apex classes, LWC, or I work with the security model. It means for me like I'm a technical architect, so I have to talk about like the solution. Uh, I have to talk about this thing that solution means architecture wise. I have to talk about. So for you, you can tell about like I worked like on the development part. You can talk about the Apex classes, LWC, triggers, flows, all of those things you can talk about. And after that, what you have to say is like since everybody is interested in like what is the work that you have done previously, so what you can just say to the panel is like, if you allow me, can you can I please tell about the latest project which I worked on? The panel will 99% say yes, and here's your golden chance on that. What you can do in this by means what you can do is like you can tell about the project. So here what you have to talk about is like from the business aspect as well as from the technical aspect you have to talk. Taking example of say community, so what you can just say is like there would be a user who would be logged in into community. For community we use the customer community plus license or customer community license. So here we have managed the sharing through sharing set, since that's the only way that we can do, since there are no portal rules available in this license. Then you have to talk about like if actually before talking on this you have to talk about the business problem that you're solving. So what you can meet expense cloud mostly is focused around like self-service portal. So what you can just say for expense cloud is like we have created a portal for our for end users to see their warranty information or raise cases and update their own contact information. So that's the way you can get about, and then you can talk about like the user would be first logged into a public website where they would click on login and sign up. So they would, if they are not logged in, they're able to see the generic information. And then when they click on login, they would be able to see the number, the cases that they are logged by them. They can see update the information. There would be also like if they try to raise a new case, there are some knowledge articles that would be shown to the user. And for knowledge article, as we know, like there's a knowledge user license. Means for the creation of those knowledge articles, there was a knowledge user that we configured for their internal user. And then there's a support team like which has the service cloud license, which have access to cases, accounts, and contacts. We have also given them the functionality of say email to case. Like that, you have to talk about. Like here, I'm talking about the business as well as from the technical perspective. So that is the catch you have to take care while you're explaining about the project. Any questions so far? Please feel free to talk. I have not muted you. That's just for a reason. I don't want it to be like a one-sided conversation. Yeah,
Ankit.
yeah,
Hi, it's Teresa this side.
yeah.
So I would want to know, like, if we are going in some interviews, and how can I how can I describe if like I got layoff from a company? So how can I put it in a positive way?
Now, just tell me, like in your any of those documents, is that mentioned that you are laid off? Just tell me. And
Yet I haven't got any documents as of now, because I'm on notice period, and there is no such particular reason they have told us about why we got laid off, like there are other employees as well. So
my question is like, is there any evidence of that
we don't have any any
evidence?
letter or anything right now.
So why do you want to tell it?
Okay, so if somebody is asking me, I I should not tell them that this is
Unless
what.
they figure it out.
Mhm.
That
Okay.
is my take on that. If there's nowhere where it's mentioned about like you are being laid off, like you are terminated or anything like that, why would you like to disclose it?
Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
That's the simple way you tackle it. See, you have to be very it means see. Sometimes what happens is like there are some harsh situations, like there is some year gap or some employment gap. So these kind of things would also come in for few of you. So in such situations, you have to handle it diplomatically. Like you can say like due to some health reason or some family reason, you were not able to do the employment, but in the meanwhile, you try to upskill yourself. Like since there's a gap, so you had to upskill yourself like out of the total duration. Like say 4 months or 5 months, you can just say like you had a gap of say 2 3 months, but then again you had taken 2 3 months to reskill yourself to make it relevant to the market. And since like you are able to means uh, you had done the preparation. That's why you are able to crack the interview, something like that. You can just say because these things would happen in for sure.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Anybody has any other question? Uh, and if anybody is saying it's like in the background, I'm not able to hear.
Ankit, how to start the self-introduction like a proper way?
Sorry,
How to start the self-introduction?
self-introduction. I just explained. No, like what you have to do is like you have to give a very short introduction. See, panel gets bored after 2 minutes or 3 minutes. To keep him interested, what in that 2 3 minutes, what you have to just focus about is like what's your short means your name, currently associated with which company, what is your total years of experience, any certifications you have done. You can talk about the current roles and responsibilities, and then you can tell about your skill set. And then after that you have to tell them like to keep the like this after this line the panel would kind of lose it like it's like going too much big. If the panel explicitly ask you like please detail me on some of the few areas, what's your current roles and responsibilities, what's your prior experience, then you have to say it. Otherwise, unless stated, just explain these whatever points I have told you, and then you can just talk about like what's the latest thing you worked on the project. Because see, what is the everybody is interested in what you know, what value you can bring into the company. So for that purpose they would want to know like what are the things you did in your latest project. And since I've explained you the way, like you have to keep it both business as well as technical, because you have to understand the use case, like what actually you are solving in. And technical side, you have to tell them like you know the technical stuff as well.
Yes, 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 Ankit.
uh, for you means I believe like whoever has joined, like are you facing issues while yeah, your resume is not being shortlisted, or you're not getting interview calls, anything like that? I was just checking like if anybody has not getting the interview calls, then it might be happen like the resume needs to be refined. I don't have real experience, and yes, we are returning interview for 3 years. So I'm just going through the means one question which has been posted in the chat. The first implementation you have done and challenges you have faced. See, here it's actually a very good question. Like many people, I mean, say in my career as well, like people have asked me, like, what is the toughest implementation that you have done so far? So what you can say is like, see, the things were simple. It's just like at that juncture, it was like quite difficult for me to relate to those things. Like you can just talk about like, say, we have to take a very logical scenario, then only you will be able to give that. So here is my take. Like for me, it was like once when I was trying to do the sharing of a means give the access of a particular record to customer community user, like through Epic sharing. But that is not possible. So I was not getting exception or anything like that. But later I discovered like that was available only for the plus license. So that was my toughest implementation. And for you, it could vary. But what you can just talk about is like few of the like asynchronous things like future means handling the future method and your means call when you try to means you can just give some scenario around like epic CPU limit or anything like that, because that is a very common error means problem that you face. So but and in resolution you can talk about like we had the chain means there were multiple automations, so we made it like one automation per object, and then you can talk about like few of the things we moved into asynchronous, something of that sort you can talk about. That's the only tip I can give you. Otherwise it means other than that it would it's what seems tough to me might not be tough to you and vice versa as well. So that's what I can say. Any other question?
Yeah, no, Ankit, thank you.
Okay. Any technical questions you want me to discuss? Then we can talk. Then we can talk on that.
Ankit, how to deserialize the JSON data in Apex class?
Sorry, deserialize.
Yeah. You got the JSON data.
Now you have to deserialize it. See, what you have to do is like since you would know the apex means what there's two three ways of doing that. So you have one is the JSON parser. You can just deserialize part by part. Like say there are two three attributes. So you can deserialize part by part. But what usually I do it is like I create a wrapper class with all those things, means all those attributes, and then through JSON.deserialize I pass that string and then mention the class name. It's my wrapper class dot class I put in, and then I deserialize. I use the JSON.deserialize. So I would just give you a link like how exactly it's to be done, but it's pretty much simple. It's not a big deal. Actually, to question what you have asked, it's already available on Salesforce Apex Stack Exchange.
Yeah, listening to it. But I'm trying to write the web because I'm deserialize that did not working. That's why I'm asking.
It's not working.
Yes.
Mm, you have to paste the entire JSON structure, and then I think
Yes, I was checking the JSON structure and JSON tools like JSON format are valid or not. After that, I converted the JSON to Apex convert time.
no
They give us
directly. It's directly. Sometimes it doesn't work out. You have to think logically. So that might take you some time, but it's doable. Give me 1 second. I think few people are trying to Join but not able to get. So one second, there's another question. Means to answer your question, like you have to look at like the JSON structure. And sometimes the automated tools that doesn't work out, so you have to actually do it manually, Hari, to answer your question. Explain how does Jira and Agile methodology works in real projects and how do we get issues reported from customer? Explain the example. See, Jira is just a project management tool. So in Jira, we have like options of creating sprint, epics, and there are various user stories as well. And there is option of creating bug as well. And agile methodology. Agile methodology actually what for? It's the intent is like you give a deliverable after every sprint. And then based on the feedback, you can try to incorporate those feedbacks. And it really works the same way in practical projects which I've worked on. So sometimes there are some issues that are reported from the customer, so those are logged as bugs. So the QA team is responsible for reporting the issues. So how the process works is like in the initial of the sprint, you get the prioritization done and we do the sprint planning and estimate the things. And although this might depend like whether the project is fixed bid or is it time and material. So how does it work is you start you can what you can do is one second. Yeah, so what I was saying is like for the Jira means you start do the sprint planning, you decide like what are the items that the team can take up, and then the team assigns uh, it to themselves, and then those things are like the user stories for them are groomed if not groomed already, and then you start with the development. The QA is done. After the QA is done, it's means if any bugs are there, those are logged, and then you move into next item, next Jira item, and then at the end of sprint, like what you do is like you do a demo with the client, so they're also confident like what has been delivered so far. So if there are any feedbacks, you capture that as a separate item in Jira, and then in your second sprint you incorporate those. So that's the way it works. Any other question? And as per that, actually, there is one more interview question that is most common is like, what are your daily day-to-day activities? What are the tasks that you do? So you have to talk about like from the very beginning, like you have the scrum call and then you work on that story item and then you connect with your team to if you need any help. Else, once an item is done, you update the Jira status and then hand it over to the QA team for testing. And then the QA team test and then close the bug. And at the day end, you have a call with the client. Some of those things happen, so you have to talk about that. So, any other question? If any bug happens in production, so first thing it would happen is like it needs to be logged. So now the next action item that needs to be done is in your full copy or any hotfix environment, the same item has to be replicated. Means you have to be able to reproduce that same issue. Since your hotfix and your prod would be in sync, you should be able to replicate that issue unless it is a data issue. So what the next item is like the development team would work on directly on the hotfix environment and then create a pull request for that, and then that code would get migrated from hotfix to prod. And now what would happen is like the prod should get synced with the other sandbox. There should be back deployment as well to make sure like the latest changes are there in the developer sandboxes as well.
I don't know why I'm not understanding what.
Is my voice breaking?
Can you please come it again? Words, technical words, hotfix, something that I'm not understanding.
1 second. See, what hotfix actually means is like there's an environment that we wait 1 second. Yeah. If any production bug happens, that bug is means to, since if we go by the regular process or like we do the develop, we means if I get a production issue, then if I start doing that fix directly in the dev environment and then propagating that changes, it would take much time. Did you agree on that or not?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
I
and there would be too much downtime for that. So I was just saying like it will be too much downtime. So to avoid the situation, what is recommended is like you have one environment directly exact clone of your production, which is called a hotfix environment. Partial copy only. And it's actually meant like if
okay.
anything breaks in production, so you should be able to replicate that.
May I know these details about hotfix in Google?
Yeah, you will be able to see that. You have to just search about the release management strategy for Salesforce. So through that, you will be able to see the different environments that needs to be there in.
Okay. Got it. So first we have to fix in the hotfix environment.
Yes, and
We
move
have
that,
to
move
redeploy in
that.
the production,
Yes,
right?
and then you, yes, yes.
Okay. And okay. And we have to test it again in all the other sandboxes. UAT.
No, you have to do the back deployment.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Got it.
Some enterprise customers are like who have too much money. They actually have a for hotfix as a full copy sandbox. Some who don't have, they actually go with partial copy since it's like comparatively cheap. So what I told about like partial copy, full copy, it depends on the client to client. Ideally, if it in the way consider it as a best case, then it should be full copy because you will have the exact data and everything. But mostly, what through my experience, I've seen like companies only have partial copy for this kind of hot fixes. Are you clear, Vindhya?
Yes, I'm clear. I'm clear. Someone has messaged, so that's why I'm waiting to explain that.
Okay,
Thank
it's
you.
like okay, it's okay. Not a moment. I actually didn't. Yeah, deployment process about how do we do deployment using GitHub. See, what Salesforce recommended is like you have to do the deployment via source. Means basically the best way to do the deployment is through, and means actually depends on scenario to scenario. If suppose you're doing a app exchange product, so what you have to do is like you have to create a managed package. So what you do is like through the use the regular like you deploy create the commits, you do the development in the org, you create the different means you create a repo and you push that code to that repo, and through that repo you create the unlock means manage package, means you have to enable the dev hub in your production, and then you have to create the different packages, you have to enable the namespace as well. So for that kind of approach, like through managed package, like for app exchange development, the process is typically different. And for like a regular deployment, like unmanaged code, it's quite different. So for unmanaged code, what normally is followed is like in the GitHub, like you have a feature branch, which is like you have 2, 3 branches. Like first is like your production. Next you have like per environment, like say you can say like a hotfix or full copy. Yeah, you can call it like a hotfix, and then you can also have another, which is like a staging environment, like what the different developers create their own feature branch, which is merged into staging. Staging is moved to QA is moved to UAT is moved to hotfix, and hotfix is moved to production. So that's how your code is moved. And then for deployment, for each of the environment, like there are various tools available. Few tools that are available in the market are like Copado, Blossom, Gearset. Salesforce also has its own Salesforce DevOps, and strategy wise, there's another various other mechanisms as well. You have the 1GP package that you can create. You can create unlocked, I mean, second generation package as well. You can create unlocked packages as well. You can create managed package as well. So there are ways of doing the deployment and migrating to another environment. So each of it is actually a kind of vast topic which needs to be covered with different specific use cases. So might be in upcoming session I would like to cover that in more detail.
I mean, I have taken 3 years of experience in Salesforce. I mean, is it mandatory to learn these managed packages and unmanaged packages?
See, the way I look at it is like it depends. Managed packages are mostly preferred by companies like who have their own product.
These things?
See, you have to know like what are there, and like suppose for us like when I means for me it was like in few of the scenarios the client was actually developing a product. For doing the development selling that product is always sold in the app exchange, so you have to have a managed package for that. So that's when the managed package comes into picture. At first generation, second generation unlock packages come into the picture for few specific use cases only. Like, see, what Salesforce actually recommends is like you use unlock packages. The reason being like your code is developed once and then you don't have to do any setup or anything. You have to just kind of, it's like a managed package. You install it on other environments, and your code it would be very quick for you to migrate it. And talking about like second generation package, so second generation package is like you just package all the things in one and you can migrate it. So there are different use cases, and at least you should know like what are the different types and what is the use case for each of them. Although not in the grand level you're expected to know, but at least you are expected to know what is unlocked and means unmanaged package and regular and managed package. At least those two things you are expected to know.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Some Can you please note it down like some major points to learn in the deployment process for the 3 years of experienced candidate? Can you please
There,
explain that?
see, there I will share a few links on the DevOps process. I think there are some few people who have already kind of come up with the interview For interview perspective, what are the typical DevOps questions that are might be asked, and so I'll just share those links.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that will be helpful, I think. Thanks. Uh, one more question from my side. Can you explain about the exception handling in real time? We just learned that we can handle by try and catch by system.debug in these ways only, right? Is there any other things in real time?
There are various things. It's just a tip of the iceberg, I would just say. See, two, three things on that. First thing, like when you do exception handling, why actually we do that? So that we are able, it's for one for development debugging. Second is to know like if the things are actually fine in production.
Okay.
So for development purpose, we can do with system.debug and it works for us. But when you move into production environment, like there would be like you have to keep a note of like if any bugs are there in any particular scenario is failing in or not. To capture those, like every time people won't create a system.debug log and will see those things. So for here, you would need a error logging mechanism. So what is recommended is like you create an error log object and then insert those records. But here's another catch, which you might already know. Like if for any exception comes in, that transition is rolled back automatically, right?
Yes.
So even if you try to insert that record, it won't be actually inserted. It would get rolled off for some of the scenarios. So here the catch comes in about the platform events. I hope everybody is aware of platform events.
Yeah.
So what is the recommended approach is like what you can do is like if there's an error coming up, you can just create a platform event and fire that. And on the trigger, like you can create a flow where you can uh, based on that platform event that is being fired, and you can create your error log record. Like you have the error log object, you have create records of it based on the firing of that platform event and then capture that. Since platform event is a fire and forget, so it would not be affected by like rollback database rollback, and you would still have the error logs.
Yes.
So there are few exceptions which are you can handle. For few of those you can't handle.
Yeah, good. Is there any blog regarding to this so that we can read more about this?
Uh, Exception handling. I think
Yeah.
there should be few blogs around that. I will just see and will share the links on that. I don't know, but I have read about it. Means practically also I felt it, and it was asked to me in one of the interviews as well, long back.
I got this question. That's why I'm asking. I said like try and catch. They didn't accept for that. So
Try catch is like you are avoiding it, but sometimes like it won't work out as well.
mhm. Okay, I understand.
Any other question? Or are we good? I assume all of you are already in the WhatsApp group, right?
Yes.
Okay. So those who are not there, I will just share my screen. You can do just a scan of this QR code. You can just try to scan it. Whoever have not are not a part of WhatsApp group. So because I would be pasting all those links in the WhatsApp group only. Those who are not joined, are you able to join? Yeah, are you able to scan? Please acknowledge, otherwise I can just stop sharing this screen. So just asking you on that. You're not able to scan? Okay, welcome. So, okay, so just once I'm done, like we're uploading this on the YouTube channel as well. Okay. Okay, then closing it.